In this photo, a lion, a bear and a tiger are snuggling side by side. They are formidable beasts. But how can they live in such harmony? In an animal sanctuary located in Georgia, USA, there live Shere Khan the tiger, Baru the bear and Leo the lion. All three of them live together as close family members in this small world. These three animals are affectionately known as BLT, which is an acronym taken from their names. These three kinds of animals have always been regarded as the most ferocious. But at the moment, they are living together in close proximity. No quarrels between them, let alone fight. Such a harmonious scene is really amazing. As of this year, they have been living together for 15 years. Their story has been the subject of frequent news reports, attracting countless people's attention and warming people's hearts. As we all know, lions and tigers have a strong sense of territorial possession, and they should be hostile to each other, making it difficult for them to coexist. However, surprisingly, they are able to cross the species barrier and live together harmoniously. What is the reason for this? What is the reason for this? It turns out that there is a heartbreaking story behind it. Back in 2001, police investigating a drug ring in Atlanta made an unexpected and heartbreaking discovery in the basement of a house. In that dark, damp basement lay three small animals, only a few months old: a lion, a tiger, and a bear. They had just been rescued from the cruelty of human traffickers. Their tiny bodies were covered in scars, fear was written in their eyes. Their bodies were extremely weak from injuries and malnutrition, and they faced the serious threat of infection. When Shere Khan was first brought to the center, he was in a terrible condition, severely malnourished, and so skinny that it looked as if a gust of wind could blow him over. However, under the careful care of the staff, Shere Khan is no longer as sickly as it was at the beginning, and has become full of vigor, even becoming the most mischievous one among the three animals, often bringing unexpected joy to everyone. Shere Khan is a passionate guy who can often be seen carefully grooming two other animals. In 2014, Shere Khan was unfortunately diagnosed with disc disease, news that worried those who cared about him. However, after professional treatment, he successfully overcame the disease and has now fully recovered and can continue to happily spend time with his companions again. The lion, Leo, was also in a very bad condition when he was rescued. He had a wound on his nose that was infected. Doctors speculated after careful examination that this was due to the fact that Leo had been imprisoned in a cage in extremely poor conditions, and it longed to be free. So time and time again, it hit its nose against the cage that confined it, trying to break through the cage and escape from that horrible place, which led to the injury on its nose. Under the careful care of the veterinarians, the wound on Leo's nose gradually healed and returned to its original form, except that the scar remained, as if telling of the suffering it had endured. Leo was neutered at a young age, so he doesn't have the lion's trademark, mane. He has a very reserved personality, like a quiet hermit. Nowadays, his favorite thing to do is to snooze on the balcony of his hut, enjoying the hard-earned peace and quiet. At first glance, Leo gives the impression of being quiet and calm, like a wise man who has no quarrel with the world. However, when he gets a toy, he will pick it up more quickly than other lion cubs and bring it to his nose for a sniff. At that moment, he displays the innocence that characterizes felines. At the time of his rescue, Baru was in the most precarious situation of the three. Poor Baru had been on a leash since he was a baby, and in all his years of growing up, no one had ever replaced the collar that bound him. As time passed, the narrow collar and shackles acted as the devil's claws, mercilessly eating away at his flesh, and the wounds gradually worsened, eventually causing a serious infection. The situation was so critical that Baru had to undergo emergency surgery to be rescued from the abyss of pain. While Baru was undergoing surgery, the three siblings were separated for the first time in their lives. Leo the lion and Shere Khan the tiger looked around and wandered back and forth, their bright eyes full of fear and worry. They are afraid that their brother Baru has disappeared and will never come back. Fortunately, the surgery was a complete success. When Baru returned from the surgery, the three brothers snuggled together and did not want to be separated for a moment, and the bond between them was sublimated in this moment. Baru is a very reliable companion. Its warm character is like the warm sun in winter, which can dispel all the gloom. Moreover, it has a special preference: it likes sweets, and that sweet taste seems to symbolize the warmth it brings. Their childhood was spent together in a harsh environment, and those dark and painful days became the only solace for each other, and as a result, they formed an unbelievably deep friendship. These three animals have been living together in this small world for 15 years. During these long years, they have never left each other and have become each other's eternal companions. At first, the volunteers hoped that after the treatment was over, they could be released back to nature, so that they could return to the life that should belong to them. However, to our surprise, these three animals have apparently become inseparable from each other, and their attachment to each other is so deep that they are unwilling to separate, only wanting to continue to live together. Although they belong to very different species and have their own unique habits, there is a wonderful and warm emotional bond between them, just like a real family, guarding each other and accompanying each other. August 16, 2016 was a sad day when Leo the lion sadly passed away. Earlier, when Leo was rushed to the hospital, everyone was full of hope that he would get through this crisis. However, the results of the examination made everyone's heart sink to the bottom. 80% of Leo's liver had been eroded by cancer, and his condition was so serious that he could not be operated on. So we could only watch as the disease mercilessly took away his life. Baru and Shere Khan may have sensed Leo's condition long before he showed signs of loss of appetite, said the sanctuary staff, filled with emotion. When Leo finally left this world, Shere Khan and Baru seemed to calmly accept the cruel fact that their brother was gone. However, those who are familiar with them know that they often come to the place where they used to play with Leo and stay quietly. The longing in their eyes seems to tell their endless memories of Leo. And those wonderful times when they played together seem to be just yesterday, but now things have changed. It is often easy to assume that these three animals, which are often viewed as ferocious, living together might one day raise serious safety concerns. After all, the ferocious nature of lions, tigers and bears is ingrained in the popular perception. However, the 15 years they have lived together have been like warm sunshine, completely dispelling the clouds of worry in people's hearts. This intimate relationship between them, which transcends species, is no accident. It's because they were there for each other during their difficult childhood years and survived the dark times together that they have forged this precious and touching bond today. Thank you for watching to the end. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments section below. If you like it, please also subscribe to our channel and give us a positive review. See you in the next video.